I'd like to pick up a few comments uh, about Prince Harry. Gary K2H says he's no longer a prince. His mother was a national hero, but he is a spoiled brat and the world is sick of him. Abolish the monarchy ASAP. What a ridiculous thing to say. Prince Harry is now and always will be a prince. And actually, I don't think, even though there was a story the other day about Prince William stripping him of his HRH title, I don't think that's actually possible. And should William do it when he is king, that will look cheap. Prince Harry has always offered to pay for his family's extra security, and that is the point. He is not allowed to pay for the extra security. He's offered to pay for it. He's not allowed to. And that is the thing which I find so extraordinary. On a matter of principle, he is having his nose rubbed in the dirt, and that seems wrong for a person who has served his country, who is the son of the king, and whose only error is in marrying somebody that who wants to be independent. And I find that extraordinary. By the way, I'm for those people who seem to think that I'm anti-Meghan. I'm not anti-Meghan at all. I think this story makes Britain look cheap and makes the Home Office look particularly cheap. It's extraordinary that the Home Office can spend so much effort on this and don't do their real job.
In a world where silence often equals complicity, one man stands out, Professor Tim Wilson. His stance on Prince Harry's situation is nothing short of a bold outcry against the injustices prevalent in our society. In a time when many choose to remain tight-lipped, Professor Wilson's voice rings out clear and resolute. He has made his support for Prince Harry abundantly obvious, criticising the Home Office's decision to deprive Harry of his rightful security. This, he says, is not just a matter of protocol, but a matter of dignity and safety. Undeterred by controversy, Professor Wilson has not shied away from calling the decision for what it is: cheap. It's a term that holds weight, a term that underscores the pettiness of the decision, a term that speaks volumes about the Home Office's priorities. With this one word, he paints a vivid picture of the grim situation and the grim decision-makers behind it. But Professor Wilson's boldness doesn't stop at criticism. His support for Prince Harry extends beyond the mere acknowledgement of the wrongs done to him. It is an active, vocal and unyielding support, a beacon of hope in a situation fraught with hostility and indifference. Harry, a man who has chosen to carve his own path, is being targeted and denied the basic right to security. It's a petty move, a dangerous game played at the expense of a man's safety. The royal family, for their part, continue to remain silent, complicit in this act of institutional cruelty. But not Professor Wilson. He has chosen to speak, and his words echo with the force of truth and justice. Professor Wilson's stance is not just an opinion, it is a bold and powerful statement that calls out the injustice, supports the unfairly treated, and refuses to stay quiet in the face of institutional cruelty. His unwavering support for Harry in the face of institutional cruelty is a testament to his character and a much-needed defence in these tumultuous times. In a world where silence often equals complicity, Professor Wilson's voice is a beacon of truth. His words, his stance, his bold defiance against injustice, they serve as a reminder of what it means to stand up for what's right, even when it's not easy. Especially when it's not easy. The Home Office's decision to deny basic security to Prince Harry is not just an act of pettiness, it is a dangerous game of power politics. Picture this: a man who has served his country, a man who has walked through the halls of power and tradition, suddenly stripped of his protection. Why? Because he dared to choose a different path. This isn't just about Harry, this is about the message it sends to us all. If a man of Harry's stature can be treated with such blatant disregard, what hope is there for the everyday person? The Home Office's actions are a stark reminder of how those in power can manipulate the system to serve their interests, even if it means putting lives at risk. It's not just unfair, it's dangerous. We're talking about a man who faces constant scrutiny, a man whose family is a target simply because of their status. To deny him the basic right to security is to play a dangerous game, one that could have grave consequences. We must also consider the implications of this decision on Harry's emotional well-being. Imagine the constant fear, the relentless worry, the knowledge that you and your loved ones are left unprotected. It's a psychological warfare, one that no one should have to endure. But what's most disgraceful is the silence. The silence from those who should be speaking up, those who should be fighting against this injustice. It speaks volumes about their priorities, about their lack of empathy, about their detachment from the real world. The Home Office's disgraceful act is a stark reminder of the lengths institutions will go to uphold their power, even at the cost of basic human rights. It's a wake-up call for us all, a call to stand up against such blatant abuses of power. We must not let this slide. We must not let this become the norm. For if we do, we risk losing not just our security, but our fundamental rights as well. In the face of such blatant injustice, the royal family's silence speaks volumes. As we peel back the layers of this deeply troubling situation, we find the royal family perched in their gilded cage, watching the drama unfold from a safe distance. They remain silent, almost eerily so. This silence, ladies and gentlemen, is not golden. It is a silence that reeks of complicity, of apathy, and of a cold indifference to the plight of one of their own. Prince Harry, a man who has served his country, who has dedicated his life to charitable causes, is left unprotected and vulnerable. And where is the royal family amidst this? Where is their outcry, their defence, their action? It is nowhere to be found. Instead, they choose to remain silent, their voices swallowed by the grand halls of their palaces, their words as absent as their empathy. This isn't just about Prince Harry. This is about a family, a royal family, that has turned its back on one of its own. It is about a family that has chosen to stay silent in the face of blatant injustice. It's about a family that, by its inaction and silence, seems to be endorsing the Home Office's disgraceful decision. Their silence is deafening. It echoes through the corridors of power and reverberates around the world, a tacit approval of the mistreatment of Prince Harry. It's a chilling reminder that institutions, even royal ones, can be marred by pettiness and spite. In their silence, the royal family has shown us who they truly are. They have shown us that they are willing to let one of their own suffer, to let him face danger without the security he deserves. And all this simply because he dared to walk a different path, to seek happiness outside the confines of their gilded cage. The royal family's silence is not just disappointing, it's a glaring example of their complicity in this shameful act. In an era where false narratives often overshadow the truth, Professor Wilson's support for Meghan is a breath of fresh air. In a world rife with misinformation and bias, Professor Wilson has made his stance crystal clear. He's not merely a silent supporter, he's an active advocate. He's not just a detached observer, he's a vocal participant in the narrative surrounding Meghan. When he said, "For those who think I'm anti-Meghan, I'm not," he was doing more than just expressing his views. He was challenging the tide of negativity that too often washes over public figures who dare to diverge from the path that society has laid out for them. His support for Meghan is not blind or unquestioning. Rather, it's rooted in a deep understanding of the pressures and prejudices she faces. He recognizes the unfairness of the attacks on her character, the relentless scrutiny she is subjected to, and the double standards that are applied to her actions. And he has chosen to stand up against these injustices, to lend his voice to the chorus of those who believe in fairness and equality. But why does his support matter so much? Because he is not just any supporter. He's a respected academic, a man known for his integrity and intellectual rigor. His opinion carries weight. And when someone like him speaks up, people listen. His support helps to counterbalance the bias and misinformation that swirl around Meghan, to challenge the false narratives that are spun about her. In a society that too often distorts reality to fit its own preconceptions and biases, Professor Wilson's support for Meghan is like a beacon of truth. He reminds us that we should not blindly accept the narratives that are fed to us, that we should question, explore, and seek the truth for ourselves. And for that he deserves our utmost respect and admiration. Professor Wilson's clear and honest support for Meghan is a much-needed reality check, a beacon of truth in our often distorted society.